It's 1989. A very cold war is going on right now between NATO and Warsaw Pact. It has been like this for almost 40 years now, and it seems like nothing is changing. Whoa, the hell? Yo, Soviet Union, did you see that? Why did you let that happen? Soviet, you good? Uh-oh. Europe in 1989 was looking very tense because some big events were happening. For example, the teardown of Berlin Wall, Germany being unified, the dissolvement of Warsaw Pact, and last but not least, the collapse of the Soviet Union. After hearing this, the West was ecstatic because their number one opponent was now gone. But you know what wasn't gone after the fall of the Soviet Union? War and suffering. For example, in the Caucasus, there was a war between the newly formed states of Armenia and Azerbaijan in Nagorno-Karabakh region, which ended in 1993, with Armenian separatists taking Karabakh and a ceasefire. Up north, there was a war between Georgia and the separatist region of Abkhazia and South Ossetia. In the meanwhile, Russia wasn't so happy about losing so much territories, so as a result, it helped separatists in Georgia. The conflict ended with separatists taking most territories and signing ceasefire with Georgia. For now. But there was another post-Soviet country suffering separatists whom were supported by the Russians, and that was Moldova with Transnistria. Like in Georgia, there was a war between them which was ended by Transnistrian victory and a ceasefire. So yeah, Soviet Union's breakup wasn't so peaceful. Haha, looks like the great Soviet Union has broken up. I would never allow that to happen. Suddenly after saying this, I don't feel so safe. And indeed, Yugoslavia was not safe. First, Slovenia declared its independence, which resulted in 10 days of conflict. Then Croatia and Bosnia-Herzegovina wanted independence, and thus, a bloody conflict broke out between them and the government. In the meanwhile, North Macedonia became independent without any major problem. In 1995, the conflict finally ended. Croatia and Bosnia finally got their independence, and peace was finally here in the Balkans. JK, Kosovo started acting up and another war began. This time, NATO intervened and bombed Belgrade so hard that Yugoslav army left Kosovo, but so did many civilians. The bombing was regarded as a war crime by many, including Serbia, but they lost, so their opinion didn't matter. During 1999 and 2004, many former Warsaw Pact members joined NATO and EU, including Soviet ones like the Baltics. This move did not please Russia, and thus they were threatened, but for now there was nothing they could do. Then, in 2006, Yugoslavia fully broke up, and Serbia and Montenegro were born. In early 2008, Kosovo declared independence from Serbia, and many Western countries recognized it. This left Serbia really mad and disrespected. Russia was also not happy with this decision, but this time it decided to take action. Russia thought to himself, isn't there a nation with separatists that I could potentially recognize and show West that I could do this say? Oh yeah, right. Yep, it was none other than Georgia. Actually, Georgia itself was seeking to join NATO and EU, and thus it was perfect country to pick on. So in 2008 of August, Russia invaded Georgia and fully kicked them out of Abkhazia and South Ossetia, and then officially recognized these two breakaway republics. This was Russia's way of saying, if you recognize Kosovo, then I recognize Abkhazia and South Ossetia. This was alarming for the West, and it made them think, will Russia terrorize other nations as well, or was Georgia the last one? And indeed, it turned out Georgia was not the last one. In 2013, a revolution of dignity occurred in Ukraine, where pro-Russian government was ousted and a new pro-Western government was assigned. Ukraine, like Georgia, was aiming to join NATO and EU. This was terrible news for Russia, and it wanted to punish Ukraine for choosing this direction, so in 2014, because of majority being Russians, Russia sent troops to Crimea and de facto annexed it. This however backfired, because now Ukraine was more interested in joining NATO and EU more than ever before. But this wasn't the last problem Ukraine had to face. Because of its pro-Western shift, pro-Russian rebels in Donetsk and Luhansk started attacking Ukraine and declared themselves to be independent. But they could not manage to take the entirety of Ukraine's army. However, the war ended in a stalemate, and not surprisingly, ceasefire agreement was signed. 30 years after the first Nagorno-Karabakh war, a second war between Armenia and Azerbaijan broke out, and its result was the Azeri victory. And it returned most of the occupied lands, but some were still allowed to be in Armenia's control. Now we have come to 2022. You viewers probably know that the world is in a bit of a pickle right now, because Russia has had enough of Ukraine's pro-Western shenanigans and decided to launch a full-scale invasion. But it isn't going as everyone expected. The invasion is stagnating and Russia is seeing minor to no successes at all. And of course, the sanctions destroyed the country. Now nobody really knows what to expect in the future. Will Ukraine survive or be occupied by Russia? Nobody knows. But one thing we should all know is how we got into this mess in the first place and not to make the same mistakes in the future. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe and don't forget to hit that like button. Goodbye and see you next time.